My brother sent me a 40th anniversary registry, a $22,000 cruise, 2 Rolexes, and a new kitchen set because Mom deserves it. When I said, "You've got the wrong person," he snapped. "We all voted. You're the rich one." So I froze the payments, canceled the dinner, and the next morning, no one could get into the house. Can you imagine being trapped in a life you didn't choose, where your own family sees you not as a person, but as their personal ATM? Because I lived it. And the day they tried to make me the primary sponsor of a $22,000 cruise for their anniversary, that was the day I finally snapped. Hey everyone, I'm Daniel. I'm 36, and for as long as I can remember, I've been the fixer in my family. The oldest kid, the one with his life together. The one who drops everything to answer panic calls at 2 a.m. when a hospital system freezes mid-surgery. Yeah, that's my job. And apparently, that's my family role, too. I live alone in a small townhouse I bought years ago, drive a 10-year-old Civic because it runs, and I make decent money. Comfortable, if I'm careful. But to my family, that comfortable translates to Jeff Bezos with a coupon binder. My mom Lorna and my dad Mark have been married 40 years this June. Then there's Jason, my 33-year-old brother, a salesman by day, hobby guru by night. And my sister Liv, 28, a total, we should start a podcast, person who rotates jobs like phone cases. And me, I'm the one who files their taxes, negotiates phone bills, calls insurance when someone forgets to pay. I'm holding the rope, pretending it's not burning my hands. Last Sunday, I was just making coffee, doing laundry when my phone buzzed. The family group chat. It felt just like a calendar invite to a headache. It was all about anniversary planning. I opened it and saw a link. Jason's message popped up, registry is live. Everyone add to cart ASAP so we can lock stuff in. Mom deserves it. A second message immediately followed, don't be cheap. This is a once-in-a-lifetime event. My stomach dropped. I clicked the link. What loaded was pure insanity. It looked like a wedding registry designed for a yacht that had a baby with a luxury mall. A 7-night all-inclusive Mediterranean cruise. $22,480. 2 Rolex Dajusts. $18,600. A gourmet kitchen appliance bundle. $9,200. Full house deep clean plus landscaper. $2,300. Anniversary dinner at Aurelia, private room for $1,000 minimum. And that wasn't even everything. Balloon arches, photo experiences, custom napkins, champagne walls, a harpist. It was a nightmare. Then I saw it at the very bottom. A primary sponsor badge with my name on it in gold. Primary sponsor, Daniel M. I hadn't signed anything. I didn't even know you could make a registry for an anniversary. Jason pinged me directly. Bro, call the cruise line contact by noon to put the deposit. Use your card, and we'll sort the rest later. I typed back, my fingers shaking slightly. You've got the wrong person. His dots were angry. We all voted. You're the rich one. Don't start. My own voice in my head sounded flat, tired. Don't start. Like I was a faucet for money and drama, and it was just about water pressure. Liv chimed in. This is for Mom. She never asks for anything. Jason had done all the research. Then Mom finally entered with her soft text voice. Oh, sweetie. Only if it's not too much trouble. Dad sent a thumbs up. My coffee went cold. I stared at the total on the screen in a quiet kitchen that suddenly felt hostile. My hands were steady, but it was that kind of steady you get when you're too numb to shake. I tried to keep my tone normal. Who decided on the primary sponsor? Jason replied instantly. Me, Liv, and Mom. Dad added, it's up to us. Majority wins. Family first. I swallowed the first 2 responses that came to mind. I just set my phone down like it was hot and walked to the sink. In my chest, a small, familiar click. The one that happens right before the loop starts. The loop where I pay, then resent, then apologize for resenting, then pay again. The screen lit up again. Jason, no excuses. We know what you make. My breath caught. How do you know what I make? Then I remembered last year. I'd left a W-2 on Mom's table while fixing her printer. I had to run to the store. When I got back, it was in a different stack. Someone had moved it. Jason's next message. You literally make double what we do. This is not hard. I sipped the cold coffee. It tasted like a dare. I typed, let's talk about this later. Jason, deposit today or we lose the suite. Noon. Liv sent a heart. Mom sent a praying hands emoji. I stared at the phone, then at my sink, then at the laundry basket. I felt that old sickening mix. Obligation braided with shame. The kind that starts as a whisper and ends as a rope. I put the mug down. I wiped the counter just because it was the only thing I could control for 10 seconds. Then I picked up the phone. I opened my banking app. Not to pay, just to stare. I watched the numbers like weather. Rain in the forecast, maybe a storm. I closed the app. I closed the group chat. I set the phone face down. Don't react, I told myself. Not yet. But the first trigger had already been pulled. I didn't become the primary sponsor. On Sunday, I was drafted years ago. It started small, right after college. Dad got laid off. Mom's hours were cut. I covered their power bill, just this once. Then a car repair, a dentist bill, Christmas, New Year's, property tax. We forgot. Jason was always in a bad month. Liv was figuring herself out. I had the job with benefits. I was single. I had the least chaos. So money slid my way like gravity. At first, I kept a spreadsheet. Loan to parents had a column. Loan to Jason, a different color. Gift to Liv, got no interest. I planned to square up when everyone stabilized. No one stabilized. The spreadsheet became a confession. I got good at it. Negotiated their cable bundle. Switched their car insurance. Set up auto payments for mom's prescriptions. Put dad's phone on my family plan. I told myself I was rescuing them from fees. It would be worse if I didn't. But every rescue bought me a new expectation. Daniel, honey, can you look at the AC? The guy says we need a new compressor. Bro, Venmo me $200. Commission's late. Danny, this is so embarrassing, but I got an overdraft. Can you just spot me until Friday? I said yes. Saying yes was always easier than the meltdown that followed a no. The language shifted in quiet, insidious ways. Loan became help. Help became support. Support became responsibility. Mom started saying, "We don't want to be a burden," right before asking for $600. Dad would add, "You know, we did our best," which was true and also a trap. Jason called me bank bro. He meant it like a joke. It wasn't a joke. Liv cried once because her card got declined at brunch. I drove across town, paid the bill, and hugged her on the sidewalk. Her mascara left a mark on my jacket that wouldn't wash out. I wore it anyway. Over time, the requests grew fatter while the thanks got thinner. 3 years ago, Mom had a health scare. Hospital stay, scans, scary words. I paid the out-of-pocket. No question, I would do it again. That's not the part one resented. What got me was what came after. Mom and Dad decided they were owed joy. They started booking little travel things, to live while we can. They asked me to just cover the flights because you want us to have experiences, right? Jason moved into a nicer apartment. He called it manifesting abundance. He also called me when rent was due. Liv bought a dog, then a second dog, then an Instagram for the dogs that needed sponsorships. I bought the vet visit when the little one ate a sock. Meanwhile, I gave up the idea of replacing my car. I kept the Civic, patched the bumper after a fender bender, skipped the trip I planned with friends because work got busy. It wasn't work. It was a surprise bill for Mom's dental implant and a temporary loan for Jason's tax bill. When I tried to set boundaries, the family system squeezed me back in. One Thanksgiving, I said, "I can't do Christmas presents for everyone this year. Let's do Secret Santa. $50 cap." Mom smiled and said, "Whatever people can afford is fine." Then she told Aunt Sharon I was watching my pennies. Jason laughed and called me Scrooge in the group chat and posted a Grinch gif. Everyone else sent laughing emojis. Another time I said, "Hey, I need you guys to pay your part of the phone plan. It's $35 each." Dad, "Back in our day, we paid for you." Mom, "It's only $35. Jason, "Bro, why nickel and dime family?" Liv, "I'll send it when I can." She didn't. I stopped asking. It was easier to fold a losing hand than to argue the rules of the game. When I bought the townhouse, I put the utilities in my name for the first month to get the discounts. My name stayed there for 2 years because "we'll switch it next week" turned into "can you just cover it, and we'll settle later." Later became never, became normal. Mom's favorite sentence, "You know you're our rock." It feels like a hug until you notice the rope attached. By the time the anniversary registry link arrived, I was already paying their phone bill, their internet, half their car insurance, Mom's prescriptions every other month, their streaming services because Dad can't miss his shows. Jason's lingering loan that never had a number, only a feeling. The deposit on the anniversary dinner reservation I made months ago when the plan was a nice dinner with just the family. I'd also put a refundable deposit on a small event space for after dinner because Mom wanted a moment for speeches. It was supposed to be intimate. It was supposed to be doable. Then Jason discovered event blocks. I could see the algorithm fingerprints all over that registry. I scrolled the list again and felt the creep of the new normal on the horizon. I asked in the chat what happened to dinner and speeches. Jason, we upgraded. It's 40 years. Go big or go home. Live. The cruise would be such a core memory for them. Dad, we're not young anymore. Mom, only if it's not too much trouble. I stared at that line. The only if, that always means it is too much trouble. I typed, we need to discuss budget. Jason, budget is tacky. He sent a screenshot of the cruise suite with a private balcony and a butler. There was a fruit plate staged by the ocean. I could literally smell the filtered air through the screen. Jason, deposit is $5,000. Do it by noon or price goes up. I checked my calendar. Noon was 90 minutes away. I was supposed to be at the gym. Instead, I sat at the table and did the math. If I put $5,000 on my card, I could cover it, but I need to move money from my emergency fund. My emergency fund, not a family fund, the one I built when I stopped sleeping well. I imagined my car breaking down next month, or the roof, or Mom's health again, or my own. I heard that old argument in my head. Asterisk, you're single. No kids. Money is a tool. They're your family. You'll be fine. Asterisk, then another voice, newer and shaky, but real. You are your family, too. The problem wasn't the cruise. The problem was the vote I was never invited to and the role I never agreed to play. That's the part that finally made me angry. Not loud angry, cold angry, the kind that organizes receipts. At 11:12 a.m., Jason called. No text this time. I let it ring. He called again. I picked up. Deposit, he said without even a hello. We're losing daylight. I'm not putting $5,000 on my card, I said. You're being dramatic, he scoffed. We'll settle up. When? After when? He huffed. God, you always need a spreadsheet. Can't you just do this one thing? It's for Mom. It's not one thing, I said. It's never one thing. He went quiet for half a second. Then he switched tactics. We voted. Majority is 3 out of 5. That's democracy. You don't get to vote with my bank account, I said. Family is different, he insisted. I'm family, I shot back. I get a vote. You voted no. We overruled. Simple. No, I said, it's not. Silence. Then the thing I knew was coming. Bro, we saw your W-2. He said it so casually. It's not like you can't. I closed my eyes. You went through my papers. My voice was flat. Don't make it creepy. It was on the table. Mom said you wouldn't mind. She was proud. Behind the anger, I heard a smaller sound. Embarrassment. They had measured me in a quiet room, then written the number on my forehead. Jason, I said, steady now. I'm not paying the deposit. I'm not the primary sponsor. If you want the cruise, you and Liv can figure out how to pay for it. He exhaled a laugh that wasn't a laugh. Wow. Okay. You're really going to be this guy? This guy who has boundaries? Yes, I said. He went for the kill. Mom will be crushed. I stared at the dark TV across from me and saw my face in it. Tired, older than 36. Mom will survive a nice dinner, I said. She will not survive me burning out and vanishing. What does that even mean, he snapped. It means I'm done being your bank, I said. Starting now. I could hear him pacing. He does that when he's losing. So, you're canceling the dinner, too? He said, pushing a button. No, I said. I already put a deposit on the dinner months ago. That's my gift. The deposit stays. We will eat. We will toast. We will go home. He scoffed. You're cheap. I've given you 10 years of not cheap, I said. I have the receipts. He must have heard something in my voice. He switched to wounded. You're punishing us because you're lonely. That one hit like a slap. I felt the old shame, then watched it pass like a bad commercial. I'm protecting myself, I said. He went full volume. You're a traitor, he yelled. You think you're better than us. Without us, you're nothing. Who are you going to have when you're old? Your laptop? Your Civic? I stood up. My hands were steady again. I'll have a retirement account, I said. Do you want to see the line items of everything I've covered? Because I can share the spreadsheet. The phone bill, the internet, the car insurance, Mom's meds, Jason's taxes, Liv's dogs, the anniversary dinner deposit. The refundable event space, the $6,000 in flights last year, the temporary move-in fees, the overdraft fees, the property tax. He made a choking noise. You kept track. Yes, I said. Because every time I didn't, you told me it wasn't that much. He was quiet. Then he found one last lever. If you don't pay by noon, I'm telling Mom you ruined her anniversary. Tell her, I said. I'll tell her I saved her from debt. He swore. He hung up. I stood in my kitchen and felt something unclench. It was small and huge at the same time, like taking off a backpack I'd forgotten I was wearing. I opened my banking app again. I scrolled to recurring payments. I paused two of them. The streaming bundle and the extra line on my phone plan that Jason added just for a month. I took a breath and paused the third. The automatic transfer to my parents' account that I set up 2 years ago to save them the trouble. Then I emailed the restaurant. I changed our reservation from a private room with a minimum to a regular table for immediate family only. No cousins, no balloon arch. I kept the deposit because I said I would. I canceled the event space. Refund requested. Finally, I opened the app connected to my parents' smart lock. I had added my account years ago because I was the one who paid for the lock. I changed the guest code that half the family knew because they just pop in. I left Mom and Dad's codes as is. I removed Jason. I removed Liv. I also removed family guest. I put down my phone. I waited for the explosion. It took 5 minutes. Jason in the group chat. Are you serious? I can't get in the house. Liv same. WTF. Mom. Kids, is something wrong with the door? Dad. Door blinking red. I typed. No emergency. I removed guest access. Mom and Dad still have their codes. If you need to visit, ask first. Jason. You're being unfair. Liv. This is so controlling, Dan. Mom. Sweetie, can you fix it before I go to my book club? I replied to Mom only. Your code still works. I'll stop by tonight and show you. Then I put my phone on Do Not Disturb and went to the gym. I ran 2 miles and didn't die. By 3 p.m., my phone looked like a beehive. Missed calls, messages, voicemails labeled urgent. The group chat had turned into a full-blown drama theater. Jason, you ruined everything. Liv, you made Mom cry. Aunt Sharon, I don't know what's happening, but your mother is very upset. Mom, Daniel, I don't like fighting. This was supposed to be happy. Dad, we can talk later. I made myself a sandwich. I ate it. Then I called Mom. She answered on the second ring. I could hear the TV in the background. Some talk show audience was clapping. Hi, Mom, I said. She exhaled. Oh, honey. I'm coming by after work to show you the door. I said. Your code works. I removed the guest code. That's all. Silence. Then softly. Jason said. You canceled the cruise. I didn't cancel the cruise, I said. I never booked it. She took that in. He says you canceled the dinner. I adjusted the reservation. I clarified. We're still going. My gift is the dinner. Just us. No extras, no harps. She tried a different angle. But the cruise would have been so special. For who? I asked, keeping my tone kind. For you or for the people watching you? She didn't answer. The TV audience laughed at something. Mom, I said, I love you. I want to celebrate you. I can't fund a show. I won't. She sighed. You know, we didn't do right by money sometimes. I know, I said. And I helped a lot. I know, she said. The words were small, but they were there. I need you to back me, I said. Just this once. Tell Jason and Liv that dinner is enough. If they want the cruise, they can plan it next year and pay for it themselves. She was quiet. Then she said the line that has bruised me since I was 12. I don't want to be in the middle. You put me in the middle, I said, gentle but firm. You, Jason, and Liv voted with my wallet. That is the middle. She didn't argue. She made a soft sound. Then surprisingly, I hate conflict. I know, I said. So don't make me the conflict so you don't have to feel it. She hummed. Your father says dinner is nice. Good, I said, relief moving through me like warm water. I'll talk to them, she said. No promises. That's fine, I said. I'm not asking for permission. I'm telling you what I'm doing. I love you. I'll pick you up at 6 o'clock on Saturday. We hung up. 20 minutes later, Jason called again. I let it go to voicemail. He texted a screenshot of Mom's message to the chat. We're doing dinner on Saturday. No cruise. Jason, so you manipulated her. Liv, this is so sad. Aunt Sharon, dinner will be lovely, with 10 heart emojis. Dad, what time? Saturday. The tone shifted. Not calm, but less fire. At 5 p.m., I drove to my parents' house with a spare keypad and a printout of the manual because I know my mother. Mom hugged me at the door. She looked smaller than she did in the chat. Her eyes were puffy. The TV was still on. The audience clapping for a surprise makeover. Show me, she said. I showed her how to use the app. I set her fingerprint. I set Dad's fingerprint. I showed her how to add Jason and Liv temporarily when they visit. You can add them for the day, I said, then remove them. She nodded, absorbing it like a recipe. She made tea. We sat at the kitchen table. I know you've done a lot, she said, her eyes on the steam. I have, I said. She looked up. I didn't know about all of it. That's because when I tell you, you say you don't want to feel guilty, I said. So, I stopped telling you. She flinched, not because it was mean, but because it was true. We were quiet. Dad came in from the garage, wiping his hands on a shop towel like he was stepping into a scene. That thing with the door is fancy, he said. Can I still use a key? Yes, I said. You still have your key? He nodded, relieved by something simple. He sat. He cleared his throat. About the dinner, he said, eyes on the table. I told your mother $4,000 for one meal is insane. It is, I said. He shrugged. She likes to feel special. I do too, I said. Sometimes I'd like to feel like a son and not an ATM. He didn't laugh. He looked at me like he saw me in a new light. Fair, he said. I took out a folder. Yes, a literal folder. I had printed a one-page summary from the spreadsheet. Not every line, just the totals. Parents, $18,430 over 5 years. Jason, $7,950. Liv, $3,680. Miscellaneous, $2,100. Total, $32,160. Not counting time. Gas. Calling customer service for 3 hours while on hold. I slid it across the table. This is not to shame anyone, I said. It's to explain why a $5,000 deposit is not just a deposit to me. Mom read it. Her mouth dropped a little. She put her hand over it like a cough. Dad whistled low. Well, I'll be damned. Mom's eyes filled. Daniel, I didn't bring this before because it turns into a fight, I said. Then I'm the bad guy for keeping track. Mom shook her head. I'm sorry, she said. The words were small, but they existed. I'm not asking for repayment, I said. I'm asking for boundaries. Dad nodded. About time, he said, and I almost laughed. We sat with it. Not comfortable, but real. At 7 p.m., Jason showed up. He rang and nothing happened because his code didn't work. He knocked. Mom looked at me like, should I? It's your house, I said. You can let him in. She opened the door. Jason came in hot. This is ridiculous, he said. You locked me out without notice. I didn't rise. Hi, Jason. He took the folder off the table without asking. He scanned the numbers. He snorted. You're dramatic. Those are transactions, I said. Not feelings. He shoved the paper back. So what? Money makes you better than us. No, I said. Boundaries make me healthier than before. He rolled his eyes. Therapy speak. Maybe try it, I said. He flinched. He hated being read. Mom intervened. Jason, dinner on Saturday. That's the plan. He looked betrayed. You're taking his side. I'm taking my anniversary without debt, she said. It was the strongest sentence I'd heard from her in years. He looked at me like he wanted a new target. I stayed in my chair. I didn't fold my arms. I didn't explain. I let the silence do the work I usually do with 20 words. He huffed and left, muttering something about betrayal. Liv texted later that she was so disappointed and that Mom deserves princess treatment. I wrote back. Mom deserves love, not bills. Saturday came. I picked up Mom and Dad. Dad wore his suit that fits only if he doesn't breathe too hard. Mom wore a blue dress that matched her eyes. I brought flowers that didn't look like they were for a funeral. We had dinner, not at Aurelia, but a place where the food is good and the lights are human. We ate. We told stories. Dad cried a little when he talked about how they met. Mom laughed at the part where he spilled coffee on her at the coffee machine. No harpist, no balloon arch. A waiter took our photo with my phone. Mom put it on the fridge the next day. Jason and Liv didn't come. They posted a story of cocktails somewhere with a caption, self-care. After dinner, we drove by the community center where Mom used to volunteer. There was a small concert. We sat on folding chairs and held little paper programs. Mom squeezed my hand during a piano piece. No one asked me for my card. On Sunday, the sky didn't fall. Jason sulked in the chat. Liv posted quotes about setting boundaries at people who set boundaries. Aunt Sharon sent a long voice memo about family being everything that somehow left out the part where family pays their own bills. I didn't reply. I went for a walk. I cleaned my kitchen. I opened my banking app and watched the next month bloom with fewer leaks. Monday, something strange happened. Dad called me. Not for a bill. He asked me to show him how to set up an automatic transfer from his checking to Mom's pharmacy account. I can handle my part, he said. I got lazy. Tuesday, Mom texted me a photo of a handwritten list. It said, streaming, cancel. Phone, Jason and Liv pay $35 or off. Internet, we can call and negotiate. She signed it with a heart. Wednesday, Liv called crying. Her landlord raised the rent. She wanted to move home for a few months. Mom told her yes. Then Mom called me and asked, "Is that okay?" "It's not my house," I said. "But don't ask me to pay for the move." She paused. "Okay," she said, "I won't." Thursday, Jason sent a message that made me put my phone down and breathe. "I got a second job delivering at night. Temporary, whatever." I didn't respond. I didn't need to. He would feel what responsibility feels like. I hoped he might grow a spine from the weight. By the next week, the chat went back to normal. In that way, families do. Pretending everything is fine because everything isn't actively on fire. But something had shifted. A small space opened where my yes used to live. It wasn't empty. It was filled with me. What do you think? Have you ever had to draw a line in the sand with family like this? How did it go for you? I really want to know what you would have done in my shoes. Leave a comment below.